What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the latest Liverpool transfer news video. And in this video we will talk about Jadon Sancho, because one of Germany's biggest newspaper, The Bild, is reporting that Premier League giants Liverpool and Manchester United are chasing the 19-year-old winger, who again had a magnificent performance on Friday. Borussia Dortmund played Köln, they won 5-1. Haaland came on as a substitute to score another 2 goals, so he has 5 goals in 2 appearances. But Jadon Sancho also scored and got an assist. But according to this report, Liverpool will have to pay a massive 150 million euros for Jadon Sancho, which translates to about 127 million pounds. So let me know, is he worth that money? Do you think Liverpool should pay that? Because Jadon Sancho has scored 10 goals and 10 assists in just 16 Bundesliga appearances. So in 16 games he contributed to 20 goals. And also in the Champions League he has 2 goals and 2 assists in 6 Champions League games, which makes his total 12 goals and 12 assists for the whole season so far. I'm not sure if he contributed any numbers in the German Cup, but during the last season Jadon Sancho scored 12 goals and provided 14 assists, so already he probably has a better goals column, goals contribution than last season, because I think he scored in the German Cup as well. And I think that Liverpool really should consider signing Jadon Sancho massively, because Liverpool, once they win the Premier League title, and I think, God forbid, an injury crisis happens where half of our team is out injured for 6 months, I think if that doesn't happen, then Liverpool hopefully will win the Premier League title. And I think that Liverpool will be probably the most attractive club in the summer, and we have to take advantage of that. We have to sign 1 or 2 really huge players, because the time is now. When you are in a place of domination like Liverpool are, you have to strengthen the team every season so it doesn't go stale. Because look at what happened to Manchester City. It can unravel very quickly, and football works in cycles, and I want Liverpool to stay at the top for as many seasons as possible. And in order for Liverpool to do that, I think we need really exciting young players, fresh blood like Jadon Sancho, because I think that he is an absolutely generational talent and probably the most talented English young player in the world right now. And what he's doing at Dortmund, coming as a young player from Manchester City without 1 Premier League appearance, is nothing short of incredible. It's almost miraculous how he has taken the Bundesliga by storm, and he is still a kid, basically a 19-year-old kid. And I think that Jadon Sancho is one of the best players to come out of England. According to some reports coming out in the Express, for example, in December, they said that Liverpool cooled their interest in Sancho and they were no longer pursuing him. But I think that right now Jadon Sancho is one of the hottest players in world football, and Liverpool are definitely interested in him. Maybe we didn't want the transfer rumors to go crazy during the January transfer window. Maybe that's why that's where that story came from. But surely his recent form will keep Liverpool interested, because, as I said, once Liverpool wins the Premier League title, we will have the world's best talent to pick from in the summer, and Liverpool has to take advantage of that. The term wonder kid is often branded about in football without much substance, and quite so often we see young talents briefly come to the fore and then seemingly slip away back into the wilderness. Jadon Sancho is a different story. He was a revelation last season, and his form got even better this season. And I think that with the Euros coming up, Jadon Sancho will be one of the players to watch at the tournament and one of the key men in the England setup. A successful tournament for Jadon Sancho will add to his value. It will be maybe even higher than the 127 million pounds that our Dortmund are asking for. So Liverpool right now should start working on a Jadon Sancho deal, because the more we delay it, the higher his price will go up. Because if we can structure a deal right now with Dortmund, and let's say we will pay £100 million for Sancho, he signs the contract right now and he will join us in the summer. So Dortmund get to keep him for another 6 months, but with that way we would eliminate the chance of his price going up even higher, or other big clubs coming in offering more money for Jadon Sancho, because I think there will be a lot of clubs interested in him. Chelsea, Manchester United are the two obvious ones, and if there is a player who can disrupt the front three, that is Jadon Sancho, because yes, at the moment Mane, Salah and Firmino seems like they are undroppable when it comes to Liverpool's starting 11. Jadon Sancho is a player who could get in ahead of one of the wingers, I think. When Mane, who is out injured right now, needs a little bit of break, when Salah needs a little bit of break, and Salah, his form is like this, so he goes 3 or 4 games without scoring and then he goes on a scoring spree. When he's going 3-4 games without scoring, you could just take him out from the team for just 1 or 2 games, play Jadon Sancho, and then Salah could come back. And I think we should really bring in a striker or a winger who is as good as one of our front three, because we can't rely on them throughout the whole season. You could see what happened with Sadio Mane. He breaks down because he has played so many games during this winter period in England, which is absolutely crazy. And I think that Liverpool need at least one more backup for Salah and Firmino and Mane. Yes, we had signed Takumi Minamino, but Minamino is not a player who will score you 20 goals a season. Of course, I hope he proves me wrong, but at the moment it doesn't look like that profile of a player. But Jadon Sancho is only 19. I mean, Minamino right now is like, what, 20, 24, 25 years old. So at the moment, I think that Liverpool really are in a position where we can not just only afford, but attract a player of Jadon Sancho's caliber. Don't get me wrong, he is one of the most highly sought after players in world football. And yes, Liverpool have Salah, Liverpool have Mane, but you have to think long term here. Liverpool need to freshen this team up sooner or later. And I'm not saying sell Mane or sell Salah, but in 2 or 3 years, who knows, when they are 30 years old, they might want to move on to another club. They might want to try another adventure after they won everything with Liverpool. If we leave it late, and if we just sell Mane or sell Salah 2 years from now, and then we buy a big player, the price will be crazy, and also it's a much bigger risk than signing Sancho now and giving him 1 or 2 seasons to be properly integrated and bedded into the Premier League, into the Liverpool team. Of course, Jurgen Klopp's team plays in a much different way than probably any other team in world football. So there is at least a 6-month period where the player needs to learn the tactics, needs to get used to the intensity, the incredible high intensity that Jurgen Klopp's team operates in. And also, probably Jadon Sancho would love to come back to the Premier League. And Jadon Sancho has already proven himself that he is more than capable, not just in the Bundesliga, but in the Champions League. He has scored quite a few goals. He can play either wing, and over time he might even develop to a more central role, as for example Raheem Sterling did for Manchester City. If there ever was a time for Liverpool to sign Jadon Sancho, then that time is now, because as I said, if we wait, the price will go up, more and more clubs will be interested in Sancho, and the harder it gets as time goes on, the harder it will be for Liverpool to sign Jadon Sancho. So I think we should just go to Dortmund, work out a deal, sign the papers, and work out a deal where Sancho remains at Dortmund for another 6 months, and then he can join us in the summer. So what do you think about this? I think it would make sense for Liverpool to do this, because if we wait, who knows, Chelsea might come in or Manchester United might come in with an incredibly outrageous offer. Liverpool probably don't want to pay 150 million for Jadon Sancho. Don't get me wrong, I think he's worth around 100 million right now, but his price can only go up if he continues performing in the way that he is doing, because in almost every game he's scoring, he's assisting. And I watched the Barcelona-Dortmund game in the Champions League this season, and Jadon Sancho was the best player at Dortmund. He even scored in the Nou Camp, and that's not an easy thing to do against Barcelona, because at home they are super strong. The German publication Sportbild is claiming that Jadon Sancho has 3 big clubs, really big clubs, interested in him. They are Liverpool, Real Madrid and Manchester United. And yes, they are 3 of the biggest clubs in the world, but Man United are the odd one out in this one, because they are probably a fallen giant at the moment, like Liverpool were previously in the past 10 years. It happens even to the biggest clubs. And I think that Manchester United, I don't think they have a chance to sign Jadon Sancho, especially if they don't finish in the top 4, which at the moment it looks like they won't. They just lost recently to Burnley at home with a pretty hopeless performance. So I think that it will be either Liverpool, Real Madrid, maybe I can see even Chelsea interested in Jadon Sancho. They really need a winger, Chelsea as well. But Liverpool are the most attractive club out of those, in my opinion, for Jadon Sancho. Don't forget that he's English. He's just a 19-year-old kid away from his family. He himself said in interviews that he misses his family and he would love to come back to England one day, to the Premier League, because I think that's the bread and butter for Jadon Sancho, the Premier League. He wants to come back to the Premier League and show everybody in England what a great player he has become. And what better club to do that at than Liverpool. And the Sportbild section is saying that Dortmund are looking for 150 million euros, but usually the asking price is always like the biggest price that the club can set, and usually you can negotiate a better price, a better bargain of maybe like 120 million euros, something like that. And I think that basically Dortmund they just want a lot of money for Jadon Sancho. That's the bottom line, and that's fair, because Jadon Sancho is a incredible talent, and probably Dortmund would prefer a bidding war. But I think Jadon Sancho would sign for a club that is closest to what he feels right. And for Liverpool, I think Liverpool just feels right for Jadon Sancho, but of course that's his decision ultimately. And I think that the way that Jurgen Klopp spoke about Jadon Sancho, and also the way that Jurgen Klopp said previously that Liverpool even tried to sign Jadon Sancho when he was at Manchester City, but Man City wouldn't sell to another English club because of the rivalry, and because the Liverpool and Man City are competing for the same trophies. In the end, Man City sold Jadon Sancho to Dortmund, but I think Dortmund got an absolute bargain. I mean, if I remember correctly, he cost less than 10 million pounds, and now he's worth 100 million. What a incredible piece of business by Dortmund, and they are going about things in the right way. The way that they signed Erling Haaland from Salzburg. I mean, Haaland would probably be worth 150 million as well in the next 2 or 3 years. And the way that he hit the ground running in the Bundesliga is just incredible. I mean, he played like 2 substitute appearances, scoring 5 goals in less than like 60 minutes as a substitute. Wow. Absolutely incredible. And Jadon Sancho has recently fallen out with the Dortmund hierarchy, even though that's cooled down a little bit. Jadon Sancho had some problems. He got disciplined because he was late for some training and team meetings, and also he was dropped for one of the Bundesliga games. He was made a scapegoat for the way Dortmund lost to Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. And I think Jadon Sancho wants to leave Dortmund either in January or in the summer. The big question is, would Liverpool break the bank for him in January? I don't think so. I think we only signed Minamino and that's it. If we really wanted to pursue Jadon Sancho, we would go for it. It makes more sense to do it in the summer because Liverpool have such a settled team right now. I don't think it's worth disrupting that harmony with a new signing, but I think in the summer Liverpool will really go big, and I really want Liverpool to strike a deal right now so the price doesn't go up. Dortmund sporting director Michael Zors said that the issues have been resolved between Dortmund and Jadon Sancho because Jadon Sancho was fined for returning late from international duty, and he was even dropped for one of the Bundesliga games. So there were stories in the media that Jadon Sancho is desperate to leave Borussia Dortmund, and I think the obvious connection between Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp and Dortmund, it will make it very easy for Liverpool. I mean, not very easy, but easier than other clubs to negotiate with Dortmund, because Liverpool have Jurgen Klopp, who has a personal relationship with some Dortmund directors, Dortmund hierarchy. And Jurgen Klopp talked about Jadon Sancho as recently as December, so just 1.5 months before today. He's a very good player, that's what Jurgen Klopp said. I have no clue where these kind of things are coming from, but it cannot come from us because we never speak about it. But if we would be involved, nobody would know about it apart from a person who wouldn't speak about it. There is nothing to say. Cost, there is one issue, 100% that would be an issue, but there's nothing to say about it. So of course Jurgen Klopp won't say Liverpool want to sign Jadon Sancho, because that would be just foolish, alerting other clubs to the fact and also driving his price up. And Jason McAteer, who is a former Liverpool player, he's now working as a pundit. This is what he said about the situation. I doubt Jurgen Klopp feels under any pressure to make any more moves in the January transfer window. Though if there is one player I would love to see him bring to Anfield, it's Jadon Sancho. Sancho looks like a Jurgen Klopp type of player. He's young, immensely talented, looks ideally suited to the Liverpool system which Klopp plays, and would be learning off one of the top coaches in the world. Good managers take good players to the next level. Look at Raheem Sterling at Manchester City. Sterling might not have naturally brought into Pep Guardiola's unique philosophy, but he has, and the upshot is that this once erratic talent is now one of the finest players and one of the best finishers in the Premier League. Klopp has a similar aura, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is a classic example of a player who has flourished under Jurgen Klopp, where he may very well have not done under someone else. Sancho at Liverpool would be brilliant for him and for the club, and he could play anywhere along that front three, and he looks a genuinely class act. I couldn't agree more with Jason McAteer here. Imagine how good Jadon Sancho could become under Jurgen Klopp, because almost every player that Liverpool signed under Jurgen Klopp has become better. Look at how much Robertson improved, how much Trent Alexander-Arnold improved, how much Salah, how much Mane improved. And yes, that's down to the individual as well, but it has to be down to the manager and the way Liverpool operates. So come on Liverpool, sign Jadon Sancho and make a lot of Liverpool fans happy. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you later guys. Goodbye.